Phantasm.
Maximum terror.
Oh! That's your target audience, baby!
Phantasm.
You know something? I sort of enjoyed it.
Phantasm.
Sell the metal! Sell the metal! Sell the metal! Sell the metal!
Phantasm.
What the fuck is up, and welcome to the FANTASM Podcast. I am Gorechrist. With me, as always, Dr. Vincent West.
How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic, sir. Interesting pick for today. Courtesy of our wonderful friends at Tubi. As you can see, the Orion Pictures release. Love seeing that. Some of my favorite films started out that way, with that beautiful title screen. This is a film I've never seen. Folks, we encourage you to power on your Tubi app, whether it be mobile device or whatever streaming device you use, to watch along with us every time we do this. Every week, tune in. It's a lot easier. It makes more sense. Or if you have this on Blu-ray or any kind of home video, please pop it in and follow along the chaos as we go. Doctor, what film do we have here?
So, I cut school with my friend Matt, who I've referenced before on this podcast, and we skipped school and went and watched this. This is a movie that I love, and it's a movie called The First Power.
Since the beginning of time, Satan has worked to create the perfect killer. One who kills many without reason. One who cannot be stopped. Today, that man exists. Be warned. The First Power. Lou Diamond Phillips. Rated R. Starts Friday, April 6th.
1990. And it is a Lou Diamond Phillips led film. Very cool. Love Lou Diamond Phillips. It was directed by Robert Reznikoff. Not very notable director. This is kind of his claim to fame here. Although he did direct Once Upon a Mouse. It was or wrote it anyway. It's a Mickey Mouse film, so that's interesting. But this film is not very House of Mouse. This is from what I'm reading here.
Stuart Copeland from The Police scored this, their drummer.
Correct. It is about.
I saw it across the screen.
It is about a dedicated LA police detective and a female psychic must stop a demonic serial killer who is given the powers of resurrection, teleportation, and possession. Right in our wheelhouse, kids. This is that's a very good synopsis here. To get this rolling. So I've never seen this or heard of it. I literally the doctor sent me the trailer a minute ago, and I was like, yeah, this seems like a doozy. So let's fire this one up. So pretty excited to watch this one for the first time, and with all of you and with the doctor here. So written and directed by Robert Reznikoff. So we'll see how this plays out. We're gonna dig up some stuff here. You got Tracy Griffith, who starred, her first film was Sleepaway Camp 3, which is interesting. So there's that. Again, not too much notable stuff that she's been in, but she plays I believe our psychic character, which is Tess Seaton in this film. And who else we got? Jeff Kober as Patrick Channing. And he's been in a ton of stuff, most notably Sons of Anarchy. He was Jacob Hale Jr. A lot of people probably know him from that. A lot of TV stuff, television actor mostly, this guy. Yeah, a lot of NCIS stuff. He's been in CSI Law and Order. I mean, any of those.
Is he the villain in this?
I do not know. I would assume, yeah, he's probably the killer. Bill Moseley also makes an appearance in this film. He is a bartender in this, so he's got a little weird, not so much cameo in this state of his career, but you know, he always has those little weird roles that he's been involved in his whole career. He's just one of those actors that you just are like, is that? Oh yeah, it's Bill Moseley. Cool. You know, has a lot like Army of Darkness and The Blob and stuff like that. He's got these little roles in there. So let's see some trivia for this film. Let's see. First, I want to see.
One thing I wanted to say real quick.
This was actually.
I tell you this because I think this is fascinating.
Okay.
So Interscope, that was the company involved in this film. Interscope was also a record label.
Correct.
And it initially was owned by Warner Brothers. And then somehow Interscope got sold to the David Geffen Company, which is Universal Film Company.
Yes.
From Warner Brothers. And this is right around the time when that happened.
Okay.
Which is really weird, and I have very vivid memories of that because I remember the first couple of Tupac albums that I had on cassette, and this predates Death Row. It was Interscope and it was Warner Brothers, but if you went and bought like a reissue of that now, and I can't say the name of that album because it's offensive, and it's not privileged to say that, but I love the record.
Yeah.
Don't just give which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So later that would all be Universal, which is so fucking weird to me. Because by the time the Dr. Dre record came out, I know this isn't a rap podcast, but this is how I remember this Interscope story.
No, it's cool. I mean, this is LA. This is LA shit too. This film, and you know.
Okay, well there you go. Okay, well I guess I'm kind of on point. But when the Dr. Dre record that was so popular, the white one,
Chronic. Yeah.
Thank you. When that came out, that was one of the first things on Interscope on Death Row, and it was newly distributed by Universal.
Yeah.
Which is really weird because it was initially a Warner Brothers thing, and then they sold it stupidly, in my opinion, to Universal. So that's another stupid thing that Warner Brothers did where they lost a lot of fucking money.
Huh.
Sorry, it's kind of a weird and pointless story, but...
No, it's cool, actually.
It's just bizarre because there were, you know, a lot of bands that were on that label, and I remember all that stuff getting absorbed, and it was really bizarre to watch stuff that I knew that was on Warner Brothers, and it was Interscope, and then all of a sudden it's gone, it doesn't exist anymore, and it's Interscope, and it's owned by Universal, which is weird.
That is weird. Oh, and that's awesome that he's in this film. That is McKelty Williamson, and he plays Baby-O from Con Air, which is one of my all-time favorite films. So that is fucking...
Yo, look what else he's done.
It's old Detective Oliver. Yeah, he's in Forrest Gump, obviously. That's his big movie.
No. Look for the Dr. West picture.
Okay. Well, I was just going off of whatever, just from knowing that dude. But yeah, let me see. He was in
Please, if you don't care for me.
He was in the Purge election. Oh, Drucker and Heat. That has to be it.
Which one?
Drucker and Heat.
No.
So it's not Heat. That is a Dr. West film, though.
Which one?
Heat.
Oh, yeah. Heat is what I thought. Do you know what it sounded like you said? It sounded like you said Drugger the Heat.
No, his name in that movie is Drucker. So it's Drucker.
Yeah, it's Heat.
In Heat,
It's
yeah.
exactly Heat.
Yep.
He's one of the police detectives. He's
Yeah.
fucking great. He's the one with Pacino doing the "Don't waste my motherfucking time."
Yep. And then he's in Purge election year as well, so that's like a newer, kind of semi-newer thing he's done, horror-related, that he's in.
Great
Yeah.
actor.
Love him. Love Con Air. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, so like top 3 or 4.
Just like he is one of mine,
Yep.
folks. So.
Yep, so he's an awesome fucking actor. That makes me really excited he's in this film. That's awesome. So let's get into some trivia here. Try to do some courtesy of IMDb. You can all look this up as well if you may. During filming, numerous press materials listed the title as Transit because of the killer's ability to jump between bodies as a way of moving around the city. Orion, the film's U.S. distributor, decided in post-production to retitle the film The First Power, so potential audience members would be more aware of its supernatural horror elements, which I think was a good move, because the Transit wouldn't have really seemed very...
That's a terrible name for this movie.
Yeah. It would make it seem like a fucking action, like a cop action movie. Which this is apparently more of like a suspense noir film, you know.
That guy's not on Sons of Anarchy.
That's not the same guy. This is just some other dude.
That's the killer.
Is it?
Yes, I'm positive.
I don't know who that is. That's a different actor
You
than
need to
what I looked
find
up.
him. That guy fucking rules. He's a great actor. He's been in a shitload of stuff. Yeah, he's the villain. Because that's what threw me when you said that. Because I was like, "There's no way that's the Sons of Anarchy guy." Because I'm not proud of this, but I've seen a lot of Sons of Anarchy.
I think the Sons of Anarchy guy is that dude right there, but I can't tell because he looks...
It is. But I'm telling you, the villain guy, he's been in a fuck ton of stuff you like.
Yeah, he looks really familiar. Give me a second.
Oh, you wait till you see the stuff he's done. I cannot think of his name to save my life. He's been in a shitload of stuff.
If I know the killer's name, because I don't know the killer's name. It's not Patrick Channing. That's who I figured the killer's name was, but...
Hold on a minute.
So if it is, then it is Jeff Kober, who is in Sons of Anarchy. And that looks like him to me. Sure is him. He just looks way different.
Is it?
Yeah, he just looks way different now. He's got like long hair and shit. That's him.
Who the hell was he in Sons of Anarchy? Because I watched that show religiously.
Jacob Hale Jr.
Okay. He's the flashback stuff because he's dead.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, I wouldn't know, but yeah, that's definitely him.
No, that's definitely him.
So what have I seen him in? I would say Tank Girl. And that he looks familiar now.
Oh, he's been in a shitload of stuff.
Hills Have Eyes 2 remake.
A Man Apart, that's a
Yeah.
great Vin Diesel movie.
Man Apart.
In my opinion, I know that's weird, but...
Alien Nation. That's definitely one. And he's been in a ton of like TV shit. He was in that show V. The good one, the one from '85.
Wait, the remake or
No,
the original?
the original one. He was in V.
Fuck yeah, I fucking love... Dude,
Uh,
the cast for that goddamn show is amazing.
Yeah, it's good shit. The Twilight Zone, MacGyver, China Beach, X-Files, Walker, Texas Ranger. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Charmed, Buffy, Star Trek
I
Voyager.
know him
Boom.
from Buffy. Wait, which one?
Here's our usual
He was in which
connection.
movie?
He was in Star Trek Voyager. He was Eco, and then in Star Trek Enterprise, he was Treg. So there you go.
Fucking awesome.
There you go. Always the Star Trek, folks. Every time. You should know this by now.
Dr. West has possessed this podcast with it.
I mean, it's a general connection with horror.
And unintentionally just love it. And it's all there, you know.
But I feel like I've seen him in other stuff, but I don't know. Maybe he's just got one of those faces. He looks very... Like, I've seen him...
You've seen him in something. There's something we're missing.
Yeah.
Horror or something that's...
Well, I don't know. Like I said,
Yeah,
looking
that is
it up.
straight up the dude from-
Yeah, it's awesome. He's Baby O and Con Air, which is amazing. That's still it's gonna travel through the whole movie with me. They're already getting in a tussle here. They're trying to get the killer. Lou Diamond Phillips is trying to kick his ass, literally. Shoot him in the ass. Well, let's see. Movie originally had different ending, which instead... We won't get to that. I'm not going to even think of that. Because I haven't seen this. I actually don't want to read that. And for you guys and gals and whatever, we don't want you to get it spoiled if you've never seen it. So, not too big on spoilers here, although if it's a movie like, you know, if we watch a Friday the 13th film or something like that, it's like we're not going to care, you know. Usually anyone tuning in, listening to us that actually follows along, you know, we're going to assume you've seen those films and you're just having fun. But this one I haven't seen or heard of, so this is cool.
Remember, the best movies are not the ones you've not seen, it's the ones you've watched over and over again.
That's right. And going back to your hip-hop / rap discussion earlier, this is an interesting thing to list here, and this is kind of cool, actually. This kind of ties it all together. This was Eazy-E's favorite film.
Are you shitting me?
Yep, this was Eazy-E's favorite movie.
I'm telling you, I swear to you, I didn't know why. I was just being honest with you.
Isn't that crazy? That it just comes right back.
He was on Priority Records. Now, here's you something that I bet a lot of our listeners don't know. I'm going to tell you all something I bet you don't know. I know this because I'm old and I worked in a fucking record store forever. Priority, and a lot of people don't know this, Priority was distributed by the same independent distributor that distributed Metal Blade.
Ah, okay.
Priority Records. And in fact, if you're a really interested collector of this stuff, you can go on eBay, or even if you're, you know, close to my age or older, you can go look and find maybe some old Gwar albums you've got that say Priority and Metal Blade on the same thing.
Interesting.
So it's a very real thing. So, you know, you have the controversial bands like Cannibal Corpse and et cetera, and you also had your controversial, and Gwar, and you had your controversial rap of, you know, NWA and Eazy and Ice Cube.
Sure.
All that good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of that. A lot of these boundaries being pushed then and paved the way
Obviously
for
not too
things
long.
now.
That goes back to the Interscope story at the beginning of this. I'm not going to retell it, but yeah, so it's funny how some of this stuff was interwoven, and all of this stuff was very racy at the time when I was growing up, which would have been in my heyday back in 1990.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I skipped school to go watch this. Of course, my favorite Lou Diamond Phillips movie, would you like to guess what that is?
I'm going to say, God damn it, I can't think of the name of it. It's the Western one. It's
Oh yeah, you've got it.
It's let me guess.
Young Guns.
Yeah, Young Guns, because I was thinking there's a sequel to it and everything. Yeah, Young Guns.
Is, and the sequel's atrocious. The first film though is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I just couldn't think of the name, but yes, that was
You've
it.
got Kiefer Sutherland right out of a little vampire movie that Corey and I like called Lost Boys.
Oh, I don't like it.
And-
I absolutely love it. It's my favorite.
I was playing it off.
I got an ad in 7 seconds. 5 seconds.
I do too.
Okay, we're on sync today with the ads, so that's good. And it's Olive Garden. So from our
This one is the silver card.
our wonderful friends providing us only the finest dining with the fakest Italian experience and food. Olive Garden.
True story. They have commercials now that say that their sauces are authentic. They're a bowl and bag. They come frozen.
Everything does there. And you can tell because it tastes like it. Tastes like it was.
Yeah, and people go spend all this money there. Also, fun fact about that place, they're owned by the Christian Coalition. I have a really weird ad I want to talk about. They're doing a Doctor Strange in theaters now ad with Tide.
That's weird.
It is. I feel like we went back a few months. So I guess we get to relive our summer again.
Right, because I mean that movie's already out on Blu-ray and everything.
Yep.
Interesting. Unless they put it back out in theaters because they're doing that with Spider-Man. So
No.
it's weird. Unless that's what it is, it might be a Doctor Strange Spider-Man ad because they're putting.
No, it was the multiverse. It was just
Weird.
they're broadcasting an ancient commercial for Tide.
Okay, interesting.
I guess Disney's like, get us our goddamn Tide money.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now I got an Amazon ad.
I don't even know what this is. It's some bounty. Oh, it's a bounty ad because I can see the bounty thing. This dude just spilled his urine water. I don't know what the fuck that is in that glass. It looks very gross. It doesn't look like coffee or tea or soda, so I don't know what the fuck that is.
I've got an ad with people that can't control their twitching and stuff. It's called Ingrizzy.
Yeah, this dude poured...
treatment.
He spilled some kind of substance. He spilled some kind of substance on his lottery ticket.
Ingrezza?
Yeah, who knows?
By the way, fun fact. These pharmaceutical ads that so many of you probably are lobotomized by, the way Dr. West is, myself, they are only legal to show these in this country. They're illegal in every other country in the world to advertise drug medications, which I think kicks ass.
Yeah, those
kick ass. And of course, this fucking shitball of a country would have to fucking allow this bullshit.
Well, it's run by it. It's run by it.
I have really bad anxiety, and it's like I don't need to see, medicine that hopefully I'll never need with all the side effects of stuff that I never want to hear about.
Yeah, this ad's very disturbing.
Flakes ad.
I don't know if you've seen this ad.
I hate Frosted Flakes. I hated them as a kid. Okay, this is back on. Should I pause it?
Yeah, pause it. This is an eHarmony ad, okay? And look, this isn't a homophobic statement here. This is just honestly an uncomfortable commercial. It's an eHarmony ad with two gay men. Okay, it's back on. It's an eHarmony ad with two gay men, but the way that it does it is very disturbing. Even if it was a man and a woman.
Is he on Capitol Hill or something? Because that's what it looks like.
Yes. And there's the killer there. He's a fucking badass. But the one partner is like putting peanut butter on a sandwich, okay? And then the other gay man is just kind of reading like National Geographic, which is also weird. And then the one with the sandwich, well, it's not even a sandwich, it's one piece of bread that he's putting the peanut butter on. He crumples up a piece of paper and hits him in the head with it to get his attention. And then he kind of does like the finger wave, like come over here kind of thing, like very like sexually. And then when he comes over, he like puts the piece of peanut butter bread in his mouth, and it's just really weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm sounding homophobic. I'm really not trying to come off that way. It's just the commercial is a very unsettling commercial. It's not because they're gay. I'm just saying it's like, I thought eHarmony was like, I'm going to find my someone, and she walks her dog, and they walk their dog, and, jog with it, and I'm an air traffic controller, and I met my person by going out on the beach with them from eHarmony, and now we've been together.
It's like whatever.
But this one was just kind of like, it felt...
eHarmony, though, has changed their thing. It used to be like this old fart.
Right, but this one...
And he'd be like, you can get your match in 30 seconds or less.
Right,
it's like,
this one had none of that. It was...
Most of those people are using those apps to fuck. So.
Well, this is the first time I've seen an eHarmony ad where that's what it was. It was like these two gay men are just like about to fucking screw over this piece of peanut butter bread. It's a very weird ad, and I've seen it in other places. This is the first time Tubi has subjected me to it. And like I said, it doesn't make me uncomfortable because they're a gay couple. I do not care. It's fine. But it's just the way that the commercial is presented and what it's being presented for makes it uncomfortable. Because it's like, it would be like a 2% milk ad, but it's like a couple, and then like the one guy comes over and just like pours the milk all over the partner's face, and it's just like going all over the place. It's like, would you want to go out and buy milk after that? Like, I don't know. Maybe you would. I don't know. It seems kind of a little off-putting for me personally.
Right.
Or if you're like if it's a Go-Gurt ad, and let's flip the script here. It can be just a totally heterosexual couple. Are you going to go out and buy a Go-Gurt after the female, or even the male character goes to act like he's ejaculating the Go-Gurt on his female partner's face? I mean, I'm not going to go out and buy a Go-Gurt after that. I'm just going to be like, that's weird. That's a weird commercial.
Just a bad commercial.
Yes, it's the way they go about it. It's just kind of very weird. So yeah. Anyway, on to the movie. So this is kind of like a shocker situation, I'm guessing, where he's going to come back as a entity, more or less. Yeah, or horror show. Exactly. Please refer back to our 100th episode where we do that, which is very awesome. Where we do the horror show. It's a good film. That was a fun episode. You can find it on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Google, whatever, Stitcher, Podbean, any of that shit. Amazon Music, which apparently is a huge... oh, geez. Oh, he's coming right out. There's no spiritual bullshit. He's just... There he is. That's insane. He's just like floating with a knife right now. Yeah, you can any of those streaming services or podcast services, you can check those out for past episodes. Definitely recommend our 100th episode, which is crazy that was only like a year ago, but I feel like we've done a lot more than that. But anyway, we'll go back to the trivia here as we're watching this film. There's still some very interesting ones. When Fangoria magazine did a feature of this, they ran a large story of the film, and that was when it was still called Transit. It was before they changed the name. So there's a Fangoria issue of this where it's still called Transit, which is interesting. The poster for this movie appears in the Seinfeld episode The Dog, which is pretty cool. It's just, there's the first Power poster in there in a fucking episode of goddamn Seinfeld. This is a weird thing to mention, but it's kind of cool, I guess. The original theatrical trailer for the film is narrated by trailer narration legend Don LaFontaine, so this one got the pretty good trailer treatment from that. That's pretty cool. Like the first Power or whatever.
Right.
Rock vocalist Nick Cave was considered for the bad guy Patrick Channing role. Cave, who was touring the U.S. at the time, did auditions for the role, but later said he was glad he had not been awarded the part.
I'm a huge Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds fan.
He's great. He's great. Love him. Love the stuff he does with Chelsea Wolfe. I mean, he does a lot of really cool shit. And he did the one of his songs was famous in Scream. Like that was like pretty much the Scream.
I did a lot of
the Scream theme was his song. Yeah. No, he's great.
Around the time frame of this, I've seen him a few times. So, but I've got some albums here. If you'd like to get in the time machine with me.
Sure, I'll do like one more thing, and we'll get to that. But yeah,
Sorry.
Red Right Hand by Nick Cave is the one that's featured in all the Scream films, except for Scream 4, which is really weird. I think it had something to do with a copyright issue, licensing issue at the time of that film. But they did bring it back in the new film. There's a scene where you hear the Nick Cave song playing. So it's like a weird little... It's like a staple of those movies where like people expect to hear that song in it because it's always in it. And if it's not in the film, it's at the credits of it. So it's cool they brought that back. Hopefully they do it in the next film. It's kind of expected now. So yeah, I'd love Nick Cave and love that song specifically because of the the way that it's kind of been brought into the Scream lore too. Just that song itself, people love it. So. Yeah, 1990. This is a great time for a movie. It's a great time, Alex, to do this because it's the year that I was hatched, and so there's a lot of films that, as I started growing up, were still big at the time, and a lot of shit I grew up around. So, and we've done it a bunch, like everything else, but we're gonna take you back to 1990. For Altering the Future.
Altering the future!
Now we do this every episode. For those of you just tuning in, Altering the Future will take you back to the time that the feature film we are currently watching took place, this year being 1990, so I will handle the films. And we'll just go over a brief list, and the doctor does movies or the music, and sometimes he'll also do other things too. So, would you like to start since you already have the list pulled up?
Yeah, if you don't mind, because there's a lot.
Yeah, 1990, especially for Phantasm, was a fantastic year. No pun intended. So, yeah, let's go ahead and run through this shit.
So I'm going to run through some run-of-the-mill shit. And then I'm going to run through all of the death metal.
Let's do it. Let's run it. 1990, baby.
Okay, so we're just going to do some honorable mention stuff that's not death metal, but stuff we like.
Sure.
Vanity Nemesis from Celtic Frost. I personally have never liked that album.
Yeah, it's
a lot of
nobody
people
does.
do though.
Nobody
so I
likes
thought
it.
I'd throw it about. Love Hate, Blackout in the Red Room. Love Hate was a band on Sony. They weren't necessarily a hair band, but they weren't necessarily a metal band.
Right.
Dio's Lock Up the Wolves. No prayer. The underrated best thrash albums ever made, twisted into form by my boys in San Francisco. Forbidden.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Delo Habitual from James Edition. Tales of the Twilight World from Blind Guardian. That record's terrible. Beg to Differ from Prong. Harmony Corruption from Napalm Death. Lights Camera Revolution from Suicidal Tendencies. Warrant's Cherry Pie. Fun story about this. If you like hairband stuff, do, and you're curious about this record, if you're younger, skip the song Cherry Pie. Listen to the rest of the album. It's fabulous. It's their second album. King Diamond's Crazy World. Paradise Lost, Lost Paradise. Coma of Souls from Creator. Black Sabbath Tear. It's a Tony Martin era album, and I goddamn love it. It's underrated as shit.
It's very good.
Love Tony Martin. Cheers, love you. Souls of Black from Testament. Cheers to Chuck Billy out there. Scumdogs of the Universe, my favorite album from Guar. Into the Mirror Black. Rest in peace, World Dane. Thank you for doing Phantasm.
Love you.
Facelift from Alice in Chains. Loved it. I know that's weird, kids, but I loved it.
Great
Hammerheart
record.
from Bathory.
Yep.
Left Hand Path, the only album I ever liked from Entombed. Spiritual Healing from Death, a classic from Corey and I both. We both love that record. Exhorder's Slaughter in the Vatican. Never Neverland from Annihilator, which is my favorite Annihilator record. Danzig 2 Lucifuge. Empire from Queensryche. The worst Slayer album ever made, and I'm not even going to repeat what it is. Cowboys from Hell from Pantera.
Amazing.
And that is all the stuff I'm mentioning. There's stuff I missed, but if I didn't say it, it's because I don't like it.
That's right. Well,
So
there's
we're going to do some death metal real quick.
Do it.
And there's a lot. So here we go. Cannibal Corpse.
What is it? You're kind of cutting out here and there.
Even Back to Life from Cannibal Corpse.
There we go. Okay.
For God, Your Soul. For Me, Your Flesh from Pungent Stench.
It's amazing.
To the Gory End from Cancer.
Love
Vader,
it.
Morbid Rot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. The Re-Cremated EP demo from Suffocation.
Hell yeah.
That was a cassette, kids. What else do I have here? I'm sorry. Oh! It's my favorite album from 1990. Deicide's Deicide.
Yep. There you go.
And that is all on the music. However, I will do a quick, very quick adult films list from 1990.
Fuck yeah. Let's do it. Let's
What
hear
did
it.
Dr. West jack off to during 1990? Let's find out. What was I pulling my pud to?
Speaking of jacking off, we got an ad in 5 seconds. I do. 4, 3.
Oh, yeah, I actually do too.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1, I've got ads.
Okay. Yep, me too. All right. We're at Ship Station.
Let's see.
So while we're doing Ship
This
Station,
is going
we
to be
can
real quick.
do
nothing
Jizz
crazy.
Station here.
Nothing specific. Oh, my God, this is actually... I didn't actually mean to pull up porn.
Yeah, that's the risk we take here at Phantasm. I got an ad for Ship Station. We're about to hear about Jizz Station. So let's hear it. ShipStation.com/save/Phantasm.
Let's see if this has it. Hold on. I'm sorry it's taking so long.
No, you're fine. I have an ad for like a kids, like a K-12. I don't know what this is, like a
my
homeschool
God, I
thing.
think I
So
did.
yeah, definitely
Cultural,
let's get through this first before this ad out of the way before you start talking about that. Build your future. K12.com/phantasm. Yeah, we're good now. Now I have a whatever. It's a car ad.
I've got another ad. So do you want me to wait till the ads are over before I start this list?
Yeah, we're halfway through the ads. At least I am. So we might as well finish the ad shit, so we don't have to pause it and cut you off when we're getting our ways through here. Right now, I have an Allstate ad. Mine's Allstate. You're in good hands. Go allstate.com/phantasm. Get 15% off. It's not real. Don't do that, but you can try and see what they do. I'll be like, what? Now I have some fitness tracker app. Galaxy Z Flip 4. That's the next one.
I've got a Game of Thrones ad.
Nice. This one is Stir. I'm guessing this is a dating app now. Already it's not as weird as the last one. Oh, yeah, it kind of is. He's like, oh, look at me and my messy kids and my dog. Yeah, I definitely need somebody to get in on this. Okay. I play guitar. I'm in a band. And I go to the beach and I eat exquisite dinners. We're single parent. Oh, it's a single parent app. Okay, that makes sense. Now I feel like a dick.
This is some kind of rethink school ad.
I am back on. I'm back on. Yeah,
Is he walking with a cop in a tan outfit? Okay.
Yeah, he's adjusting his collar and he's smoking a cigarette inside of the jail.
Yes. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Okay.
Adult film list, 1990, Altering the Future. Boom.
I think some of these are straight and homosexual, so enjoy. 5-card stud.
Amazing.
976 cum. Yeah, apparently this is just a bunch of all blended together. All over me. All my fuckers. Amber Lynn exposed. God bless her.
I was gonna say 976 cum. That's not the same as the Stephen Joffrey's movie 976 Evil.
Right.
At least I hope not. Maybe that's the third film we don't know about.
Anal addiction 2. Anal alleys. Anal angels. Anal assassins. Anal fever. Anal finger. Anal licking pissing chick. Anal nation 1. Anal power. Anal stars. Anal trailer number 1. Anal women. And analyzer.
Welcome to 1990, everyone. Home of the anal.
But wait, there's more.
There's more anus.
Back door to Hollywood.
Nice.
Backyard buddies. I think that may be. There we go. Barflies. Bazooka County. Beat me, Daddy. Beat the heat. Bed, butts, and breakfast. Behind prison walls. That sounds wonderful. Best of bisex. What we got here? Hold on.
Damn. Going through the alphabet here.
Beyond Innocence. Big Bang. Big Guns. Big T's. Big Tits and Toys. Bisexual Action number 1. Bikini Brats. Bitch. Bitch Queens of New Orleans. Oh, I didn't know the Saints were in this. Dance. Black Fist Orgy, Black Cobra, Black Champions, Black Hustler, Black in Demand, Black in the Saddle, Black Jack, Black Male, Black Men in Love, Black Men in Uniform, Black Passion, Black Stockings.
Those are fantastic. Blackjack is great. That's solid.
Black Man and Anal Women, Blonde Love, Blonde Bombshell, Blown Cover, Bondage Pajama Party. God, that sounds like a name for a Tech War album.
God, yeah, that's a great one.
Bondage Pajama Party.
We're gonna have to.
Bondage Showgirls.
We're gonna have to write that one down. It's pretty good.
Bra Busting Mistress. Buns and Roses. Butt Naked, but of course. Buttman Goes to Rio. Buttman's Ultimate Workout. Butts Motel. God.
Please tell me that's an actual Psycho
Candy
one.
Ass.
It's pretty good. Candy Ass, that's good.
Cat Burglar. Cat's Meow. Cheek Busters. Cherries on Fire. Clock House. That's weird. That sounds like a regular movie.
Right.
Cuffed and Beaten.
Oh.
Cunt to Cunt. We're stopping with Cunt to Cunt.
That's pretty good. That's the winner right there.
That's some porn from 90 for you all. By the way, I've never seen any of that stuff. But
Cunt to cunt. That's that new.
except maybe that Buttman Goes to Rio, because that was a John Stogliano.
Since we're going on 1990 instead of step by step, you can say cunt to cunt.
Yep. You can watch the first Power, and then when you're done watching this with us, you can go jack off to Cunt to Cunt.
It's amazing. Really, really is amazing. Instead of New Kids on the Block, you can do that thing online where it's like, what was the number one song when you were born? And unfortunately, mine was New Kids on the Block. That was the number one song the day I was born.
Yeah, I like New Kids.
Yeah, they're pretty good. And it was Step by Step, so I think. Or maybe it was one of their other ones. But now I'm never going to unhear Cunt to Cunt. So that's going to be it for me. 90s films. We're going to just go all over the place. Usually I save the horror, but we're just going to name a bunch of films that I like. And we'll let you know if we've done the films and to go back and listen to those. Starting with one, Jacob's Ladder. We got...
That movie's fucked.
It is fucked. Misery. Rest in peace, James Caan. We have It. A Tim Curry film.
I love that version, man. That's
It's great.
one of my favorites.
And it's very disturbing. When I saw that film, I loved Pennywise and that whole thing, but at the same time, I was afraid that my shower would have something in it, so I would always check the drain when I went in the shower. I was very afraid of that. Edward Scissorhands, Days of Thunder, Arachnophobia, which they're remaking, and I'm actually very excited about it. I think they're going to do it well. Crybaby, Night of the Living Dead.
Brothers movie with Tracy Lords, former porn star, and Johnny Depp. Love that movie.
Very good. Night of the Living Dead, which we've done on here. It's a 1990 Tom Savini film.
Tony Todd.
That's right. Goodfellas, one of my favorite movies of all time. Tremors. Got Kindergarten Cop. Which Kindergarten Cop, correct me if I'm wrong, that is an Ivan Reitman film.
It is.
It is. You have the...
Actually, I thought Twins was, but it may be too.
I think it is also, yeah. You got the Turtles movie. Ghost. Ernest Goes to Jail. Probably my favorite Seagal movie, Marked for Death.
And Keith David, man.
That's right. Nightbreed, one of my favorite movies. Hunt for the Red October. Darkman, which we've done on here, amazing movie. Also being
West loves that movie.
Also being not remade, but I believe rebooted. We'll see. Tales from the Dark Side. Problem Child. And you got my other favorite Seagal movie, Hard to Kill.
That's a really good film, man.
It is good. Rescuers Down Under. Frankenhooker. Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. You got Child's Play 2, which we've also done. That's my favorite Child's Play film.
Dr. West loves that movie.
Navy SEALs. We got Back to the Future Part
Dr.
3.
West, y'all may think this is weird. Dr. West loves that movie.
I love it. Gremlins 2, The New Batch. RoboCop 2. You got... Let's see what else we got on here.
I'm looking at the movies, too. I can't find What is Dr. West's favorite movie this year? I really don't know.
Never Ending Story 2. Got the Jetsons movie. We got La Femme Nikita. I used to watch that show as a kid.
I know your favorite movie, but I won't say it.
Yep. Class of 1999.
I don't think I have one in this era.
Maybe not for 90. Predator 2. Which I love that film.
Not a fan of that movie.
I like it more now than I used to. It's actually, I mean, it's leagues away.
I'm not even trying to be like weird, but the only Predator I like is the first one.
I mean, realistically, me too, but I do like the other one, and there's a lot of scenes I like from it. Enough.
Predator's a cool movie, but...
Yeah, and that's really it for me. Rocky 5.
I do like that movie.
Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Cadillac Man, that's a great movie with Robin Williams.
That's an obscure Robin Williams.
It is. It's a very good one too. Got The Witches, which I thought that was like a TV movie. It might be. Troll 2.
Dude, I Come in Peace with Dolph Lundgren. That's a great movie.
Puppet Master 2. Here's a good one. This might be close on your list. Graveyard Shift, which I believe we still haven't done on here.
Graveyard Shift is a movie that I like a whole lot.
It's very good.
That you purchased for me for my birthday.
I sure did. And here's a weird one I'm going to mention, but I do love me some Disney shit. DuckTales the movie, Treasure of the Lost Lamp. I was obsessed with that movie as a kid.
Great.
Obsessed with it when I was a kid.
It's great.
Let's see. Oh, another one we've done on here, The Exorcist 3.
It's a great movie.
It is great. And then I guess I'll go with the last one here.
Sorry for chiming in there. I'm just
You're good.
To find something that I can be like, oh, that's my favorite movie of that year, but I'm just not.
What year? Well, my favorite movie, and you can go ahead and say it because it's my favorite film of 1990.
Okay, well, I actually found my favorite movie of this year, which is disturbing to tell you guys. After I'm going to tell you Corey's because he's a huge fan of this director's is Total Recall.
Correct.
And it is a great motion picture.
Oh, I found yours. I think I found yours.
Okay, now I found mine. Now this is very obscure, so
it's not
if you found this, you paid attention to some of my weird rants because this is not a horror movie.
I mean, it might not be it, but I know that it's a film you really like. So I'm just gonna Men at Work.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What a great movie. But the movie I was gonna say, and I just watched this. You guys can actually watch this on Tubi, which we're watching right now. If you have any interest in checking out some Dr. West cheesy movie rental madness, it's a movie called Side Out with C. Thomas Howell.
Yeah, I would have never guessed that.
I fucking love that movie. It's great. His friend drives around in an old hearse doing tours of Hollywood. And he ends up becoming this beach bum with the dude from 30-something that has the long hair. That was an ABC drama back in the day my mom and aunt watched.
It's amazing.
And they play professional volleyball together, and it's like a bro-out guy comedy, cheesy movie. But what you'll love is his uncle in the film that's rich that he's living with is a dude that plays Bernie from goddamn Weekend at Bernie's fucking Friday set.
Terry Kaiser. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Anyway, Side Out. Side Out, kids. Y'all can watch it. It's a weird Dr. Wet. I really think it is, though. I think it's probably my favorite movie from that year.
It's amazing. I'll have to check that out.
It's probably great shit.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah. Altering the Future.
Sorry, I didn't mean to chime in on the movies, but I thought I don't really know if I had a favorite.
No, you're good. That's why we do this. We have fun, and this is the beauty of us doing these multiple times. We can actually kind of figure things out more because we've done 90 a bunch. Exorcist 3. We've done Darkman. We've done, quite a few films from 90. So
death metal, probably my favorite year.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
You guys have to realize it got me out of thrash and into death metal permanently. I don't just tell you guys, hey, I love death metal, because we get some different type artists on Phantasm, but I love classic death metal. It's my favorite thing in the world, and yeah, that's fucked up.
He like crucified this dude under a fucking bridge. Yeah, and even a lot of the stuff to get.
Look who that is. Did you see who the guy is that's crucified?
Hang on.
I mean, I can't for legal reasons say. Did you not see? That's that guy that I did the same thing to the guy that was that he wrote band bios. Remember?
Oh yeah. You're right.
Everybody kept saying how amazing you was, so I was like, "Oh, if you're like Christ, let me crucify you." Sorry, kids, it's an inside joke, and it'll stay that way. But anyway, it's a fun one.
But no, it's cool to. I think a lot of the thrash at that time too was kind of transitioning into heavier style of thrash. So it was like, you know, when you listen to like Forbidden and even Souls of Black and stuff at that time, it was really heavy like thrash shit. So it was easier to transition into the death metal coming out. You know,
the Testament went down the death metal road.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And of course, in '90 they started already transitioning.
From Forbidden left after that album.
I have that Tide ad now. I'm on
to go play with Chuck. He toured the individual Thought Patterns album.
Yeah, I'm
like
on it.
3 years after that. He didn't play the album, Andy Rock did, but when he left, he went and did the whole fucking thing, which is really cool.
But are you on an ad, or am I on? It's just me.
No, I'm on an ad. It's some chick surfing.
Okay, this is a Tide Pod ad, so be sure to eat your Tide Pods, kids.
Frenzy Harmony.
Oh wow, okay. Well, you won't see the same one I did, hopefully, but. Yeah, anyway, sorry.
This is actually just as disturbing. It's some girl that wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire.
Oh, yeah, that's always a good one.
It's like, I'm on the app now. Hurry and join now, Dr. West. It's like, nah, I'm good.
Huh.
True story. I'm going to tell a true story right now. There is a girl that I'm friends with that I have zero interest in whatsoever that told her boyfriend recently that I was in my 60s to get him to not be jealous of me.
Wow.
True story.
Ouch. And I would have done the old Dr. West move where I'd say...
I will give you a hint who this was.
I think I know.
With the clue Epiphany.
Yeah, I was going to say I already know. Did you give her the old Atlanta go fuck yourself, Chief? Did you do that?
No, I did not. I actually absorbed it and did the classic Gorechrist and absorbed it, and I'm using as an ammunition clip later.
Amazing. I am back on the movie, by the way.
I am not. So if you pause yours, I am watching an ad for something that I don't know what this is.
Sometimes Tubi will give you a full fucking 60 seconds on ads. Sometimes it'll give you 20. I mean, it's just weird how it works. So I am at 45 minutes and 7 seconds, so whenever you get back to that, just let me know and I'll unpause it. He is in a church right now. Lou Diamond Phillips. But yeah, it's very good, you know.
Another ad. Now it's for coarse pubic hair for women. Try the new Venus Gillette pubic hair remover. Less irritation and less fur.
Yep.
Use that thing in your underarms too, ladies. Nobody wants to see you choking an animal. But okay, I'm back.
All right, what are you on? Like, is it 45 minutes? Yeah, pause it.
I'm at 44:59.
Okay, so you got to catch up for a second. I'll leave it on pause. Let me know when you get to 45 minutes and 7 seconds. That is where I am paused at. That way we can remain synced up.
You're there, sir. You're there.
All right, I am unpausing now. So what we have to do, folks, we've been doing this since quarantine. We've been sticking to the Tubi. Plus, you know, logistically with how we usually do things, you know, the doctor used to...
I can't just run over to Tennessee from Florida or Florida to New York. Or
right.
He's at.
If the doctor stays here like he used to, like for short periods of time, but enough for we could do episodes, it was a lot more convenient. But now we've been doing it this way since the pandemic, since he's had to move back and stay there and not visit here so much. I'm not going to get into that, but... This is how we do it.
COVID and almost died. We won't get into that.
Right. But,
and then Courtney had COVID and almost died. We won't get into that.
So see our way of dealing with ads. We'd like to talk through them, and we should use them for our own advertisement, but we're not going to sell out because we're not a bunch of dildos. So we We'll leave that up to us just spewing out ads. Hopefully some of them sponsor us just from reading it off from the sponsored ads
And
on
us being
Tubi.
smart asses.
Right. But anyway.
So if you were real quick, if you were going to pick another film to go with Total Recall, just one, what would you put? Would it be Goodfellas or would it be?
It'll be one I didn't mention, and it would be a weird one. It'll be Home Alone. That was my other favorite film.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't piece that one.
Yeah, I
For
mean,
me, I guess my other one, I guess it's Graveyard Shift. So
Yeah.
I guess it's Graveyard Shift, which is really weird inside out. Because
Sure.
if you watch those back to back, you'd be like, wow, Dr. West needs a straitjacket.
and going back to that, another honorable mention I didn't mention would be Maniac Cop 2, because I love that movie. So that was another one.
So
Left out,
weird
but good.
Fun fact about those movies, I was never into them. But the guy that actually played that character
Sure.
is in Tango and Cash.
Yeah, he's the shit.
And it's actually on here. And I'll tell you something else weird. He was in a weird Corey Haim movie where he plays his dad.
Yeah. It's Robert Zadar.
Weird.
Or Zadar or whatever. Robert Zadar was the cop Maniac Cop,
Yeah, correct.
which is awesome. He's the shit. Do a little more trivia here. We're about a good ways through the film now, about halfway. This is where I've seen Jeff Cobra before, and we did not find this, but I just found where we've both seen this the killer
Well,
from.
I mean, look, I know I've seen him in a million fucking things.
This is the one I've definitely seen him in, besides Tank
The Star
Girl.
Trek stuff. The Star Trek shit alone is the... Yeah, but there feels like there's something, and maybe you're about to drive it home for us here.
Well, this is what I'm saying. He was the demonic serial killer in Poltergeist: The Legacy. That was it. Had to have been it.
TV show?
Yeah.
That is something I never watched.
Oh, well, I don't know. They use a bunch of TV stuff, and that's where I know I've seen him. Like in Charmed and Buffy, I've definitely seen him in.
I feel like he was in like fucking something else that I've seen like a million times. I just don't know what it is.
I have no idea. Let's see. What does that have to do with this movie? That's a really weird thing.
Is it worth mentioning?
Oh, yeah. Dennis Lipscomb's character, Commander Al Perkins, is named after Anthony Perkins. That is pretty cool.
Awesome.
The movie received negative reviews from most critics, but did relatively well at the box office. And then something we've already mentioned, one of the several horror...
When you lay out of school and go watch it.
Exactly. One of the several horror thrillers from the era about a demonic serial killer, including The Unholy, Shocker, The Horror Show, Out of the Body, Night Visitor, The Exorcist 3, 976 Evil 2, or 976 Come, Split Second, and Shadowhunter, another movie with a very similar premise that came out a few years later as Hong Kong action horror film Satan Returns, which that sounds awesome, whatever that is. And my computer just wanted to yell at me. Yeah, Satan Returns sounds great, whatever that is. I need to track that down. I'm sure it's on here somewhere. And now you got this psychic chick, and she's kind of tied in with this, where she has little vision fits about the killer and his whereabouts, I would guess. So now she's trying to help old Lou Diamond Phillips not get killed and track down this pentagram killer. But yeah, I enjoy this so far. It's pretty cool. It's been non-stop since it started.
I need to send you something, but I don't want to discuss it while we're, doing this.
Fair? Okay.
But I want to send this to you because it's infuriating.
Okay. Yeah, we can go there.
I mean, we're not going to go there. I just want you to take a peeky poo at this real quick, and I'll do a lot of talking while you're investigating this. Sorry, kids. Sometimes this kind of stuff happens, and Dr. West has to, ask for his buddy's help on this because it's really infuriating.
Okay. Fair enough. As you do that, I'm going to look for more stuff about this film here. I think we pretty much covered the trivia stuff. I love his mask. It's actually pretty disturbing.
This I think is actually even going to piss you off.
Okay.
Okay, now you read, and I'm going to do a lot of talking.
Okay.
So, yeah, I wanted to share something with you
Oh
guys.
my God. It's got a fucking ceiling fan weapon. That is amazing. Beautiful shot here.
That mask was very disturbing.
This is death metal right now, totally. It's a very cool shot, honestly. Very cool. Wow, that's awesome. Anyway, yes, this does piss me off. I just need to read further, but yeah, go ahead.
I'll continue. I'm going to just do this.
This old guy is sleeping, and he's about, what the fuck is right? You're about to see this.
So I wanted to read you guys. This is a real transaction. All names, companies, affiliates will be withheld, and I'm even going to ad-lib a little bit of this, but I'm not going to ad-lib the meat of it. But I wanted to share you a day.
Holy shit!
And this was at 11 something in the morning, and I had sent one of our unprofessional people in the music industry, that's all I'm going to say, an email that said, this is exactly what it said. It said, sorry, but you're the only person in years that has done anything to remotely help Corey and I do this podcast. And then I got this response. Let's see here. I think you have a great intro. So our intro's good, but nothing else about what we do on this podcast is good. I like how you get people talking about the individual tracks, the band members. Yeah, we started that. So Corey and I did. We're not giving credit for it, but we started it. And then, but she goes on to say, and again, this is for me thanking her for helping Corey and I, because no one else ever has, from this particular entity company. I would just suggest doing more follow-up when you hear something cool or interesting instead of just going to the next question. Because going to the next question means I'm promoting the album, which is something they want me to do. But God forbid I do that. Let me talk to them about, hey, what kind of burrito did you have today, buddy? Because our listeners are dying to hear what fucking burrito you
And
had.
also, when a lot of artists or guests or what have you, we do these things, they don't really go into much detail or want to go into much detail about an album that's not out yet. And also, they pretty much go into all the detail we need to where we don't have to ask any further questions, because that's just kind of how interviews work. Where there's a chemistry base to this stuff that we do. It's not just we ask a question, they answer it, we move on. I mean, if there's chemistry between the interviewer and the guest, then there's going to be more discussion. But if it's not there, we're not going to pry and try to get more answers that don't need to be answered out of somebody just for the sake of answering more, asking more questions. Because asking a bunch of questions doesn't make an interview interesting. It's what is interesting about the guest. We're not the interesting people here. We're the ones conducting an interview to showcase the guests that we have on, who we give
For the company.
Yes, who we give the respect to be on here and to promote what they want to do, and for us to listen and hopefully have a great time listening to what they have to say about everything. And that's their job, to explain it the best they think they need to explain it in order for people to want to purchase the record or movie or listen to it or whatever. So
Then I was told.
yeah, that's really it for that. So if we go into lyrics or an album, usually all that's pretty well established where we don't have to answer questions or ask any more questions. And we will, if we have questions about what they said, we will gladly ask them with intrigue, but we're not going to ask them.
But we don't have to do shit because we're not going to pay.
Correct. And it's not expected by the artist, I don't think,
essentially
either.
an email. The email that this is, it was very unprofessional, and we don't get paid by anybody. So this was very like a boss talking down to you type email, so I'm going to continue.
Sure.
Another good way to get questions that would go beyond asking about the tracks of the album, because no one wants to hear about that, is to read the bio and see what piques your interest. We have a killer writer. Pretty much does all our bios. Well, first of all, I'm going to stop right there. I've never read a goddamn band bio in my life. Also, I don't need to read a band bio to have a conversation with another human being about an album. I just don't. But then I got told how this guy is the Stephen King, and he writes for top metal mags. Well, guess what? Every metal magazine that exists now,
It's all digital.
if it exists physically, I don't know a soul that's buying them. And number two, if you're writing for that doesn't make you Christ of writing. It doesn't make you Stephen King. It doesn't make you Clive Barker. It makes you none of the above.
Also, it's a different it's a different medium too, because we're not asking questions so people can read it, because it's a whole different spectrum when you're reading an interview, because obviously it has to be more interesting for the reader. We're doing audio, which means you're going to listen exactly how they're explaining it, because if you're reading it, it's going to be a different experience. So we're not here to write down really off-the-wall questions so that people read it and they have an interesting read. We want you to hear what these people have to say about their albums or whatever they're selling, and that's what we're about. So it's a different medium entirely. So to compare those two things, granted, obviously this person has to conduct interviews, whether it be the way we do it or whatever, in order to get...
Not the person that sent the email, the guy that writes bios.
Right. So, he has to write down what he conducts, but at the same time, obviously you're going to present different questions if you were to just completely do this audio where people hear it, because you're getting a different response.
But this person in this email tells me that he interviews bands and then goes and writes the bios.
There is Bill Moseley right there, the bartender, finally in his little shot. I think that was it. Bill Moseley, everybody. Got about 2 seconds.
So, and that's what he deserved. Anyway, so she's saying how this writer that does band bios for this company does these interviews for bands, but he interviews them and then writes the bio. What the fuck does that have to do with me doing a track by track of an album? Absolutely not a goddamn thing. And then she goes on to say, so take advantage and read the bio and see what jumps out at you as interesting to ask the band. Hey, man, I heard you had crabs from your last tour. I know your fucking kids and your goddamn wife doesn't know about it. Tell us about those crabs. Tell us about the fucking VD that you got out on the road. Does that jump out at you guys that listen to us? Because I would never say that, because it's unprofessional and fucking rude. Just like asking them what they ate that day or what they had for breakfast is fucking rude.
Or what their farts smell like. It's like, we really don't care. We don't think our listeners care.
An interview where I've ever done that in my life, because what I do is professional. I'm not some fucking jack-off writer that's fucking pretends to be fucking Stephen King of band bios. Anyway, she continues on to say, building up your own interview skills will only help you get more interviews and more listeners. Well, are you going to pay for me to go get a literary degree so I can continue to do the same fucking thing that I'm going to do after I get the literary degree? Because it doesn't fucking matter. I'm still going to do it my way, the same way I've done it since we started.
And I don't think anyone's going to complain about that listens to us this long in 6 years. I think everyone...
Yeah, but I'm going to let them hear the rest of this. Which in turn will help get you interviews with larger bands, as we have such limited space. And those guys that we tend to just stick with the bigger outlets, because as they have a big reach, but they also ask good questions. Well, listen, here's the deal. So this twat that sent this, the funny thing about it is I've been very fucking mad about this for a while. And I want to thank Corey for listening, and feel free to chime in whenever with this. But I wanted to just say and share this with you, our listeners. How unprofessional is it to critique me when your only job is to get me fucking interviews? That's it. Not another goddamn thing. Your sole existence to Phantasm Podcast is to get us yes or no on content. I wasn't asking for fucking preferential treatment. I wasn't asking for a goddamn thing. All I was asking for, I was actually thanking someone, and then I get attacked. But what I think is so fucking funny about it is, so you're telling me the guy picking his nose that's driving his mom's minivan doing a podcast interview with fucking Behemoth, who is no longer on this label, hint, hint, he gets to interview fucking any of the Behemoth members, and he has like 2 views on his YouTube page.
Well, he asks good questions. You know, he asks.
That's the fucking bullshit we've gotten snubbed on since we fucking started this goddamn podcast.
Well, you know, you don't ask Nurgle if he likes, when he comes over to the U.S., if he prefers the number 2 or the number 3 from Wendy's. You didn't ask him that, so not very good questions there, Dr. West.
Unfucking believable to me. Unfucking believable to me that, and that was a bad example. That band has nothing to do with any of this. But the reality of the matter is this. No one is paying Corey and I a cent to do this podcast. We do it because we just do it.
And we pay a lot of our time to try to get this stuff set up for our listeners and us and the fans and the labels, and we do a lot of fucking work that we don't have to do out of passion and out of respect and out of just, you know, all that. And
person, by the way, who's never said anything since other than this filthy email that I got, has a lot of nerve because I was thanking you. I didn't ask you to critique Corey and I as interviewers or as podcasters or anything. We're 2 assholes from New York and Florida. Like, what do you want from us? Like, we're not getting paid, and we do the best we can.
And what it seems like,
we're not trying to do anything. I'm not saying that we're fucking Decibel Magazine or fucking Maryland Death Fest. I've never claimed to be any of that. And just to point that out, Maryland Death Fest and Decibel have never done a goddamn thing for this podcast, so I'm not doing a goddamn thing for either of them. And when you send a nasty message like that, you can pretty much kiss talking to me ever again about. You guys will be really proud of me. I did not do anything venomous. I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth shut. I didn't say a goddamn thing. I literally kept my fucking mouth shut. And that's how you have to do it if you want to continue doing what you do.
Correct.
Now, the reality is, at the end of the day, I had to be the bigger person and keep my mouth shut. But I don't appreciate someone taking shots at Corey, the Phantasm logo, or me. And it was a direct attack at me.
Yeah.
And, you know, the person that sent that, I hope they die in a fucking car crash. I really do. You have no fucking right to challenge me for doing this for 7 fucking years. You don't have any right to challenge me or Corey's expertise on anything that we do. And the worst thing is, you guys listening to this, they insulted you too. They were pissing in my face, but they're pissing on everything we've ever done, which people have stolen from and stolen the whole horror and metal thing from us. They've stolen fucking little things that Corey and I do, like Corey's amazing intros that he does for our podcast, and all the artwork that Corey does for our podcast. We've had all kinds of shit stolen from us. We're not asking for anything. You know, they say that kind of stuff is flattery, but it's not. It's theft. And, you know, especially if you're not hat tipping us, you can at least throw Phantasm a fucking bone if you're stealing from us. But, and I don't want to get too carried away with this, and I'll make the last little bit of this what I have to say short and sweet. You had better bring a gun, a knife, brass knuckles, or whatever else if you're going to try to come and go to war with me. Because the reality is, you're going to have to fucking kill me if you really want to try to silence me. Now, the reality is, I handled this the best way I knew how to by not fucking saying anything. But am I mad about it? You goddamn right. Did I have a right to be mad about it? Goddamn right. It was a personal attack on me and the way that I do interviews and have done them since the day we started. The funny thing is, and I'll let you guys know this as a listener, or if you're a band or whoever you are out there, I have never had one fucking complaint from an artist about the way that I do interviews or my professionalism. So you can take that and go fuck yourself.
Or from the PR people or labels have never said, hey, you might want to do this. But apparently it's been a thing for a long time that they've never addressed or tried to relay to you. Or maybe that was just
it's this one entity which shall remain nameless.
Which maybe that was a sudden opinion, but I feel like it was something that has been hindering us because the labels felt this way. You know,
it was retaliatory.
Yeah.
And it was retaliatory from something that I brought up in a complimentary way, and they used it as retaliatory. They used it as ammo after they had a conversation, and then they attacked me with it.
Sure.
But the funny thing is, the person that writes band bios, you can go fuck yourself, dude. You don't write comic books. You ain't Stan Lee. I don't give a fuck what you've done. You ain't shit to me. Don't give a fuck. You're nobody that I care about. You're not Frank Miller. You're not Stan Lee. You can go fuck yourself. You know, you're not Ram V that writes current Marvel and DC stuff. Don't give a fuck what you write. Go write all the band bios you want. Don't give a frog's fat ass about it. Go fuck yourself. And to the person that sent the email, like I said, you can fucking rot in hell. Don't give a fuck what you think. Didn't ask you what you think. And if you hear this episode and you get offended, maybe you shouldn't have sent that fucking email. You had no fucking right to challenge me or Corey or the Phantasm logo brand. We've never done anything to you except promote your goddamn bands and tried to fucking, do the best we can. And it's not the band's fault, and I'm not blaming the bands, and that's why all this stuff will remain under wraps. However, it's not fair when a very large band gets content and coverage from someone with no listeners, and we've been doing this for 7 years, and we have listeners, and we have hits, and we have webzines writing articles about stuff that Corey does and that I do, and it gets shared all over the place, going all the way back to Corey's Anthony Michael Hall thing, or maybe even some of the recent stuff I've done with Amon Amarth, or even with Cam Lee from Massacre. And if you're not going to give us credit that we know what we're doing, and you just don't like us, and you think we're, scumbags, that's fine.
I have an ad.
I didn't ask you for your fucking opinion.
Sorry.
Corey didn't ask you for your fucking opinion. No, you're fine. Nobody asked you for your fucking opinion. Nobody did.
No, apparently you did, I guess. I don't know. We didn't.
Yeah, by paying someone a compliment, I get a fucking turd mailed back to me.
Right. I am on an ad, though, so if you have one, I'm on one. But yeah, for my 2 cents on it, if you will allow me to do that.
Please. Absolutely, please. The owner of Phantasm, the brainchild of this, will now speak on my behalf and his own behalf about this nonsense.
Really, it comes down to the fact that I think what you said, it offended somebody else. For some reason, that email was read to somebody else, and I think that person is whose opinion you got from that other person that sent it back. Not saying that was right, because it's definitely not. With either party, the fact is that it was even said in the context that, and the why they did that makes no sense. But I think that, my ads are done now. Are you still on an ad? No ad?
I'm at 108.24. Let me know when you're at that.
Okay, give me a second. I got about 15 seconds to get to that, and then we can keep going. 15, 16. Hit play right now. Play. Should be a nun looking at a pastor here. A father, if you will. That's where I'm at. So yeah, really, to take a shot at us, but it kind of like told me that these people have been thinking that for a long time and haven't told us, and this is why, because we struggle to get content a lot, and I think Dr. West does a fantastic job, and that's why I've kind of, if no one's really noticed or we've talked about this before, that I've kind of handed off the reins to the doctor to kind of get all the interviews himself, because we kind of have both been doing it jointly for a long time, and he was like, hey, I can just get all the emails myself and handle most of it and just do this my way. I'm like, cool, do it. And I've given him full confidence with that, because I know that he does a great job, and a lot of these PR people tell him he does a great job, and a lot of these artists tell him he does a great job. We've never heard the latter. So, I when he showed me this email, it just kind of baffled me because it's like, man, you don't need any. I mean, criticism is one thing, or maybe some like friendly tips or another, but that was not. That was a complete alienation, and it was a complete shot fired at him, and that was just malicious, and it was rude. It was very unprofessional. And I'm not just speaking. I'm not just speaking.
Super unprofessional.
I'm not speaking biasly here. I really do think Doctor does a fantastic job, and I always love. I'm the one that puts these interviews up, folks. I listen to every interview he's ever done, from 15-minute interviews to 2.5-hour interviews. I've edited the interviews to make them sound good and to compress them and to put them into the shit that you hear. The finished product is what I do. And, like I said, editing doesn't mean I'm taking stuff out. You hear what you hear, and that's it. I don't really do a whole lot of editing, but I listen to everything he does. I've been doing it for 6 years. We've done a lot of interviews together. We've done it on the road. We've done it all over, and it's never been disappointing for me to listen to or be around while he's doing them. So, and again, that's not a biased thing. I'll go around and listen to other people's interviews all the time just to see how other people do stuff. The Doctor does too. And it's just people, everyone has a different way of conducting interviews. There's no set way to do it, but these people, they're very corporate. They're very by the book people that think that this is a job. It's not a job for us. It's more of like just
We're not getting paid.
Yeah,
You
it's
can critique me once you start fucking writing Corey a fucking check to fucking pay us both.
right. So it's like you can say the bio guy does whatever he wants. He gets paid to write those things, and he gets paid to do the interviews and write the bios. We do not. So the way we do business,
he will never be fucking staying in the league.
the way that we do business is the way that we do business, and the way that we do this podcast, and that's our format, and it's the way we've created it, and that's just how our style is. And I think some people, not all, and most people are fine with it, but some people do not agree with how we conduct things and do our style, but that's what makes us different. That's the spirit of Phantasm, is that we are different. We're the little stepchild. People think that we're fucking controversial and weird and outspoken and fucking raunchy and gory and nasty, and that's exactly who we wanted to be from the start, because that's who we are as people. We're very nice, positive, constructive, loving, professional human beings. But when we do this podcast, we let loose, we have fun. This is how we've done it as friends before we started this. That's what inspired Phantasm in the first place. We're never going to take anything away from that, or for you, the listeners. This is who we are. So a lot of people in the corporate industries of music, metal is not away from that. Metal is very corporate now, probably more than it's been ever. It's no different than, the bigger labels out there. They want to do things the same way. They're there to make money. They're there to think that every band is the greatest band on the planet, and they promote them that way. It's not really the case. We love the bands, we love the artists we've had on, but we also ask for who we want on. We're not going to talk to bands we don't want to promote or talk to. It's our fucking brand. We're not going to get whoever you ask for just to. We don't work for you. We don't work for anybody. We want to help bands out that we like, that we think are interesting. Even bands we've never heard, just to get some interviews up or content, or just to make the labels happy. We'll check them out and be like, yeah, these guys sound cool. We'll check them out and we'll interview them. That sounds fine. That's different, but we're still approving of an artist or a group that we want on. We're not going to take whatever we get. We're going to take what we asked for or what we want. So, that's the point I'm making, is that this critiquing came out of nowhere, because it's like you're just being rude. You're being a bitch, and that's not anything we asked for. And we don't conduct business that way, and we've never criticized them for doing anything. Like, out of all the times they've fucked us over, which has been mostly.
Or even an artist that's been unprofessional. We've had plenty of artists, not to interrupt you, but just to go along with what you're saying, we've had plenty of artists that Corey and I both have dealt with that have been unprofessional. They've either completely stood us up on an interview, and I'm not going to say any names, bands, labels, anything, but they have just literally shit all over us, and we didn't air it out on here, and we never will. That's not professional, and we don't do that. But to personally attack what we've done and established after this many years, I don't appreciate it one fucking bit. I really don't.
Right.
And more importantly than that, you're not my fucking boss. Your only job, this person's only job that critiqued and attacked me, is to give us or not give us content. That's it.
Right.
I don't need to hear any other thing from you. I don't care what the weather is. I don't care if it's snowing. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. It's not my problem.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the other reality is that, we just don't, we know what we're doing, and to kind of put us in a position where you've pretty much told us, oh, well, we're not going to really give you the bigger stuff you want because you're not doing it the way we want you to do it, or we want your interviews to be this way. Then we won't get it. Then we won't get it. I mean, we don't care. It's not. You're not trying to help us by the things you said. You're trying to hurt us with the things you said.
For you guys listening, because we try to get the best stuff and the coolest stuff that would go along with what we do. But sometimes we just get told no, and we just move on about our day.
We don't complain about it. We don't complain about it. We don't say a fucking word. We're always professional. Like, okay, thank you. Anything else you have, let me know, and we'll take care of that. We'll move on. But, for them to blatantly attack Dr. West and then proceed to tell him exactly why this company on and off has been pretty shady to us about certain things we ask for. And then when we go look at the other thing, the other, entities that were given this stuff over us, which I don't think it's, we don't like to compare ourselves or think anything less of other people. But at the same time, it's like, I think we should be a little bit more respected as part of these bigger outlets, because we're not a big outlet, but we're a pretty well-known outlet at this point, and we're an
established outlet.
Yeah, we're out there. We're an established outlet. We do a good job. We the bands like us. The bands share our stuff. We're in good contact.
All that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The artist is happy.
We're in good contact with
You
these
don't own
bands.
this corporate entity to challenge us. She had
Right.
no right to do that.
Right.
He or she had no right to say that. And he or she has no right to compare us to some other person that works at your company. I don't give a fuck. I don't work for you. Corey doesn't work for you. We don't work for fucking anybody. We do this because we do it, and we've done it since we started it after we went and saw Kevin Smith do an evening with Kevin Smith. And that's the true story.
Yeah.
Like,
Because we were already kind of doing this stuff.
we're not trying to do anything, but I'm not going to have somebody throw egg on our brand and attack what I do when I was trying to pay you a fucking compliment.
Right. And to really just wrap this up, if you don't mind, I think that,
Please.
We're not going to change, and it's not like we can't take criticism. It's just we're not going to listen to bullshit either. We're not going to have somebody tell us how to do things after we've been doing it 6 years. We've been doing it successfully for 6 years, and we've gotten bigger stuff out of doing what we do the same way we've been doing it. They just think they can hold certain things over our heads because they don't really like what we do. But like I said, we're Phantasm. We're not going to change. We're raw. We're uncensored. We don't care. We're professional to who we need to be professional to. We care about the guests and artists and fans. And we care about the people and the labels that cooperate with us and help us out and just hear what we have to say and are professional back. And that's all we can do as people. So in closing, don't fuck with Phantasm and expect us to mold to what you want, because we're not doing it. And if you show us respect, we'll show you respect, and that's how it's been, and that's how it's going to stay. So that's
Beautifully said. And like I said, if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, you should know you can't tell me what to do.
And more importantly, not even me, don't fuck with the doctor, because he's going to tell you what he thinks about it. He's been very professional about it. He's been very professional about it, but you don't want to stoke that fire. You just don't.
Don't shit in my lawn.
That's right. That's a perfect way to say it. But yeah, we love you guys. Thanks for all your support and listening and having faith in us and being encouraging and however you do it, and just liking and subscribing, sharing stuff. Even if you do read a Blabbermouth article that's transcribed from an interview we've done or the doctor's done, then that's great. We appreciate that, and that's part of why we do it. And hopefully you guys just enjoy what we do, and you continue to support us and enjoy it and know what we're about and stand for what we're about. And maybe you tell other people, man, these guys deserve more. These guys are, these guys have been around a long time and they're really cool and I love their format. And, please speak out about that if you have that opportunity or ability. Just let people know how you feel as the listener, what you guys think, and we probably won't read it because if it's negative, we get fucking mad. But, you know, it's more or less like, hey, thank you guys for even tuning in the first place, and we're still doing it because of that. So, you know, we appreciate you logging in and signing on and whatever you do. And, you know, if you go as far as putting on the first power on Tubi with us and you hear our commentary and our ranting and our food reviews, all this crazy shit that we do, I mean, we appreciate that, you know. Sometimes it's a lot for an average. It's a lot to take in for somebody maybe that's never heard it. Yeah. So thank you guys.
I never would have thought if we were doing the first one right now that it would have lasted into this. I mean, it's crazy, but
yeah.
You know, this is what we enjoy doing, and we try to do some different things with interviews and stuff to get other people interested in what we're doing. But, you know, if they're not, they're not. And again, there's no gun to your head. Hit stop. You're miserable right now, so hit stop. I don't give a fuck. Do whatever you want to do. It's a you know, do whatever you feel entitled that you need to be doing. But like I said, for the people that are interested, you know, I just think it's awful that someone that, you know, we've supported would
shit on your line.
Have an employee that would you know, try to take a cheap shot at me.
Right. But, you know, it happens in this.
There's plenty of people out there that know what this podcast is that don't, you know, like me as a human being. And you know, I expect those people to take a cheap shot at me. I had a guy, I'll air it out on here right now. I had a guy one time tell me I had a loud Southern voice on a comment when we first started.
Well, you do have a loud Southern voice.
I mean, maybe I do. I had another guy tell me that there's a camera on the phone because he didn't understand the concept of a podcast.
Ad
I had
4 seconds.
Telling me that I needed to watch my pacing. You know, and again, the reality is if you have a critique for me, you can go fuck yourself. I didn't ask for it. Just like I don't come to anything that you do at your job and critique you. I mean, how would you feel if I walked in and was like, hey, it's Dr. West, I'm going to critique you all fucking day? Nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody on this fucking planet, if you're honest about it, wants anybody breathing down your fucking neck.
And you know you're not helping, you're just being an asshole, and that's the whole point. You just want to speak out and say something negative.
You're acting like you've climbed to the top of the mountain to tell us how to do our thing. Well, guess what? Corey will tell you to go fuck yourself, and then I'll knock you off the mountain. So next time you want to try to climb up it, you can't because the comments are turned off.
That's right.
We don't need your commentary on anything.
I
don't need anybody's commentary on shit.
Are you on an ad? Because I'm on an ad.
I am on an ad.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm on a Renvogue ad.
I have a diabetes commercial. Diabetes commercial with Anthony Anderson on it, and he looks very old, and it's very depressing.
But in short, you know, I don't know why people feel like they have nothing better to do than be an internet troll. And essentially, you know, this was a person I would have never thought in a million years would have been an internet troll, was an internet troll to me on a personal level.
Yeah.
And it's offensive, and you know, it's just like the thing that I will not bring up that I sent Corey during this episode, and I was sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, you know, maybe you know what, to not discuss that, but discuss that with you privately through, like, you know, hidden lingo here. Go ahead and think that, but it's also very possible you're going to end up eating that.
Yeah.
Sure, anything's possible on this planet. You know, I could drop dead while we're.
I'm off the ad. Are you still on one?
I am still on an ad.
Okay.
And even worse, I've got something actually really horrible to tell you. My whole thing just shit out.
What?
The entire thing just shit out.
Wonderful.
It's literally that Gain fucking ad, and the whole thing shit out.
It's like Frozen.
Oh yeah, it's done.
Wonderful. Well, we had about probably 5-10 minutes left of this. I'm on an hour.
I think I fixed it. I think I fixed it.
Okay. Hour and 21 minutes, 23 seconds. So when you get to that, let me know. If you can fix it.
I've got another ad, but I did fix it.
Cool.
The ad says.
Yeah, well.
Understand, like it's nobody wants. You know, I deal with a lot of comic book stuff. I never walk up to someone at a flea market or something and go, hey, these dresses you made look like shit.
Yeah.
Who does that? You're a fucking asshole if you do that. What'd you say, 123?
121.23.
Okay, I went past that. So now I'm at 121.37.
Okay, give me a second. 37?
Yes.
It's fine. Stay up, counter. Come on. 31, 32, 33. Okay. Unpause. We're good.
Look, I'm one of the most brutally honest and forward people you'll ever meet. If you ever met me, if you know me, then you already know that. But for those select few out there, but I don't go in and just attack people. I've never done it in my life. And I don't understand why people think it's okay to do that to me. And I thought it was very rude. And look, at the risk of, because it would have literally cost Corey and I this podcast if I had went on blast with this person. So I didn't. I just kept my mouth shut. So sometimes you have to just keep your mouth shut, keep playing ball,
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate. And thank you guys for listening to that, because it was something really shitty, and a lot of people wouldn't be honest with you and tell you about it, but we did. So
it's how we do business here, and that's why a lot of people really don't agree with it, because they keep their mouth shut till the end of time and cry about it, and we don't do that. We at least...
If they want, sponsors for all these big things.
Well, we use our medium, and we always have, to kind of vent about stupid shit, and, that's why we have this medium to, platform, if you will, to do that, because that's what we always agreed upon when we started this, to use it for. Like, we want to showcase these movies. We like to have a good time doing it. We're having a good time now, I think. But just, being able to talk about this stuff publicly also without really giving away too much detail or, whatever, like too much detail to what we're talking about without, damaging anything between either party, but still kind of venting about it, because right now it's just some weird thing out in the air that we're telling you, and it doesn't, to you, mean anything. You're just hearing us out, which we appreciate. That's why we're here, and we have this. We have the ability to do so. Most people don't, and we like to do it, especially in the metal world, which I feel like has been very neutered and corporatized.
Amen.
And a lot of people, just ride a comfortable line and don't want to, snap any necks. They don't want to hold any controversies. They just want to stay riding that line so they can get their bread on the table, which I understand. But everybody wants to ride that line and keep everything calm, and that's a good thing to do professionally, sure. But there's got to be a point in time where these people also can't talk down to you, especially when we're not a part of the circle, in a sense where we're not writing your fucking bios for you, and we're not getting paid to do these interviews. We do them for free. We do them out of passion. We do this when we have to, like, in between going to work or going to therapy or going to the fucking grocery store or going to the strip club, wherever the fuck we go. We're putting our time and money and patience and scheduling into this, where it's working into our normal lives. This isn't part of our careers. Like, this is something we just do. And that's our own business, but at the same time, these are people that are supposed to help us out with that and make it an easy, comfortable, professional experience through and through. And there's been a lot of fucking times where it hasn't been conducted that way, and we've had to bite our tongues about it. But in this instance, it was never going to happen. We were going to talk about it. And they're lucky that we don't want to burn the bridge quite yet, and we want to ride a comfortable line with them. But we're just letting the public know, and all you listeners out there, that this is the kind of shit that we deal with, and it's been a regular thing for 6 years. And it's not all, rainbows and dandelions and fucking leather and horns and all this like cool shit. It's actually just very corporate, bullshit. And it comes down to the way that we get treated constantly. And it's not like sometimes it's pretty normal and everything's going great. And then they want to do that to you. Like, they'll just randomly, you'll pull up to your house one day and there they are with a newspaper shitting in your yard. You're like, what are you doing, man? Like, I thought everything was cool. Like, yeah, I just thought I'd come over here and shit in your yard. I saw the paper out there, so really just wanted to, I really had to go, so I just needed to hike my shit down and start, dropping one in your fucking yard. Like, oh, thanks. I thought everything was okay, and here you are.
Interview.
Exactly. But that was more of a literal shit in the backyard.
Well, I mean, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying metaphorically, but
But yeah, if you want to be, I don't know if I've ever told anyone this
I think you should tell
on the podcast, but I was at my old Phantasm headquarters, if you will. If I'm not mistaken, was it our second or third Phantasm headquarters?
Third.
I want to say it was the third. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I had told my ex fiance, I had said, "Hey,
hold on, real quick. I gotta ask something real quick.
Okay,
Are we in agreement that place was also haunted? Because I thought it was. I always felt like something was watching me pee in there.
It was very haunted, and it was not a good haunted. It was like a very disturbingly haunted place. Yes.
Yeah, like somebody had been murdered in that motherfucker.
Yes, because I had a friend who came over there, and he is not a person of faith or any kind of, but he's not like he's just not, he just doesn't affiliate himself with anything spiritually. And he told me the first time he was there, he was like, Corey, I'm going to be honest with you. And this had no preface to it. He just straight up told me this one day out of nowhere. There was no build up to this. We weren't talking about anything that was similar to this conversation. He just straight up one day was like, when he got there, it's the first day we got there, like he showed up at my house. He was like, Corey, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. But there's something in here because this place makes me feel very uncomfortable. And that's something that's always stuck with me because I agree. Like, I've never felt comfortable there. I started having sleep paralysis there and night terrors like almost every night, and that's never happened before. And I don't have them anymore. Like, that was just there. I've had a couple since then, but I think it all started in that house, and that's very weird to me. There was definitely something going on. There was like a finished basement down there, and there was this room, like you walk. It was, I guess, it was supposed to be a long like storage room, but when you open the door, it's just literally goes left or right, like a walk-in closet. There's no straight in. It's just left or right where you go, and it's all concreted, but the walls were painted red. And that was it. There was nothing. There was no purpose for that room. So there was something with that. Like there was something weird had been in that house before us, and I don't know if it was the most recent or yeah, it was some kind of weird cult room in there or a death. I don't know what it was, but anyway, interviewing Brad Dourif, he calls me and he's like, I told my ex-fiance like, hey, just need 30 minutes to myself. I have to do this in the living room. There's something going on in my office. I don't remember. But I was like, I'm going to have to do this out here. Can you please, just for 30 minutes, not have somebody over here? Because that was like a frequent thing. I'm sure some of you can relate to where you live with somebody, whether it be your spouse or your parents or your cousins or grandparents, whoever. Like you, roommates especially, there was always like a possibility of somebody just showing up at your house and coming over and making noise and disturbing something. So I said, hey, can you just not have somebody over for like 30 minutes and let me do this interview? It's very cool to me. It's very important. And she was like, yeah, absolutely. So first thing I hear, I call Brad Dourif up and he has the flu. So I'm like, oh, God, we can reschedule this to us another time. He's like, no, everything's good. I can do it and everything's good. It's like, okay. So props to Brad Dourif to this day because he's a goddamn trooper for doing that because I was totally down with just rescheduling another time, and he really wanted to do it, so we did it. So the first thing I hear is a knock on the downstairs, the basement door downstairs. The dog gets riled up, which never happens, but he starts freaking out. So this is going on during the interview. And then I'm getting a call from her aunt, like multiple times while I'm on the phone doing this interview, because it was a phoner interview, and I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, this is all just a bad one. Like, it was like the dog, the knocking, and then she was calling me. It was all at once. It happened at the exact same time. It was just all this shit started going down. So I was like, I don't know what's happening. And, like, she wasn't even home. That was the fucked up part. Her friend's knocking on the door, and then all this shit's happening. So I'm like, what is going on? And so I look over behind me, and her aunt is taking a shit in our backyard next to the air conditioner. next to the AC thing.
Upset stomach, diarrhea.
And apparently, she tried to call me, and she was texting me, and was like, "I have IBS, I have to go, and I'm seeing if you're home, because this is the closest place I can go." It's like, can you just go to like anywhere else? Like, if you're gonna shit outside, just do it anywhere else. And she just was back there while
she thumbed right in your yard.
Right when I was interviewing Brad Dourif, I can turn around and you can see her shitting in my backyard.
She Tom thumbed it.
While people were running around upstairs in my house and making noise at this point, so where they came in and were just running around my house. And, just a fucking nightmare. So, that's the Brad Dourif story.
She Tom thumbed right in the yard.
She did Tom thumb in the yard. So that was the Brad Dourif interview story. Very good interview, but I haven't even listened to it since I put it up. If you can hear any of that chaos going on, I'm sure you can hear the knocking in the downstairs, people walking around in the house. Thankfully, there was no audio of her shitting in the backyard, but I'm sure you can hear my disdain in the interview. That was not because of Brad Dourif. It was because of all this was going on and driving me insane. So, yeah, Brad Dourif interview, go listen to it. Let me know what you think, and if you can hear my mood just completely go into, psycho killer, whatever, you can hear it. So, yeah. Fun fact, as we see this, what did he throw that lighter in? Was it like a chemicals or something? They blew up?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. I mean, you just got jokered, basically.
That's exactly, yeah. That's the idea. Yeah, you got the Keaton Nicholson, except, he lives through that.
He's actually dead. I should assume. Well, nope, there he is.
Well,
full on Michael Myers right now. Jesus Christ.
A little Jason Voorhees action.
Yep, that too.
Burning.
God, that's awesome. That is fucking awesome.
That mask is really creepy too.
Yeah.
And I know he's normal now, but that's just...
Yeah, no, a very cool killer, honestly, in this film. And like I said, we talked through, guys, we've been watching it. Hopefully you all have been following along and listening to our ranting as you've been enjoying this film if you've never seen it, like myself. Which kind of helped me talk a little more watching this, so which I apologize, we talk more about it, but I mean, this is just a crazy fucking movie, right now. Oh shit. So what the fuck is this nun? He just stabbed into her and like it was like a goddamn... Oh, it was him, okay. Yeah, because he can switch bodies or whatever.
And X-Lax just killed Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yep. Well, no, there he is. He's still alive. He's kicking. He's not in good shape. That was like you when you had COVID.
Spoiler alert, this is the alternate ending.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, he's dead. And when the credits roll, he's done. That was it.
Oh, wow. So this is probably going to be, what's his name coming back? Like, a sequel we never made.
So I've never seen this.
Yep, I knew it. Boom. You get a fucking, oh, okay. Friday the 13th style. You get the dream within a dream shit going on now, where...
I like this movie. Everybody's always hated it. I like it.
I've never heard of it, and I feel bad. This is a fantastic movie. I hope, since this is a Orion thing, Studio Canal or somebody will put it out. So yeah,
I have the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray of this is way out of print. Scorpion put it out.
Nice. Well, yeah, that was very good. I enjoyed that a lot. It's only an hour and 38 minutes, folks. It's very good. It's on Tubi right now. First Power, 1990. Final thoughts.
I love it. Saw it at the theater. Skipped school. Matt Nunn was awesome. Loved it. Loved it then. Love it now. Was listening to the Deicide cassette in his Pontiac Grand Prix.
Nice.
On the way to the movie.
That's a good way to start this one off. Yeah, I appreciate you for suggesting this. The doctor never fails on his recommendations. Never has, never will. So yeah, I love that. I actually do want this in my collection, which I'm very particular about more these days. But this is one. Hopefully they actually re-release with like a nice Pimp Daddy.
I think so. Amazon owns it now because it's MGM. So
right. So hopefully we get a Pimp Daddy of it soon. And yeah, highly recommended. A lot of fun. This is a great movie to watch with a bunch of people, and just it's awesome. It's a really cool just supernatural serial killer movie, which I love that anyway. I love those kinds of movies. I said the shocker and the horror show.
That's another movie we need to do on here sometime.
We do need to do that one. That one's awesome. I'm sure that
Bronson flick.
Yeah.
If you guys have never seen it, check it out.
And I think that's on Tubi, I'm pretty sure.
Slasher, Charlie Bronson movie I think that he ever did.
Yeah.
Besides Kinjite, Forbidden Subjects. He did some just weird. Nicole Eggert's like a prostitute in that movie. I remember
Oh, wow.
do it when I was like, oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. Because Nicole Eggert, if y'all don't know who that is, she used to date Corey Haim, and she was on Charles in Charge, and she was on Baywatch, and I always wanted her to sit on my face.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I wanted her to lay her Eggerts in my mouth.
Yeah, great movie. Really enjoyed it, and hopefully you all did too. Thanks for listening to us. Just vent and be human and have fun doing it, and we hope you all had fun as well. And in closing, really just always expect Phantasm to be what you hear and what you've always heard. We're never going to doubt you or short you on that. Basically, it's not about growing or doing better. We started, and we've grown a lot, and we've still been who we were, and we've never lost that, and it's not going to change. So,
it's about consistency.
That's right. And 6 years, we have gotten to where we've gotten for a reason, and there's no reason that, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Just because someone tells you to do things differently, you don't always have to listen to these people. Not everybody knows what they're talking about, even if they're in a higher position of power. But guess what? That's not an authority of ours because it's not our authority. We're our own authority. We're our own entity and property and brand, and that's how we're always going to be. So you guys never have to worry about that or us selling out or giving you like a 15-second break where we're selling you fucking coffee or any of this other bullshit. We're not doing that. And if it doesn't make us $5 in 2 weeks, then we don't make $5. That's just not how we've agreed to do this. The only thing we've incorporated since we started this was the interviews, and that was our extra for you guys to listen to outside of the podcast or inside of the podcast itself sometimes. So, yeah. You can always expect that we're just going to be consistent. We're going to be ourselves. And when you tune into Phantasm, oh, yeah, that's Corey Gorechrist. Oh, yeah, that's Dr. Vincent West. That's it. That's all we want you guys to hear. And that's what you'll get. So, thank you for sticking with us and supporting us. We hope you continue to do so. And we will be here. And we will never die. And if we do, we're going to come back as a serial killer. And we're still going to just do the same shit. So, enjoy. And most importantly, stay fucking gory.
Phantasm.
And you know something? I sort of enjoyed it.
Phantasm.
Hey, this is Dr. West. You can suck my dick.